Alright, so I've had a lot of requests to teach how to draw a face, which can be the most frustrating thing an artist can do, because it all depends on this one word right here, proportions. Our eyes have the ability to recognize proportions. Proportions is the size of one thing in relation to another. So if you have big ears in relation to your head, you're going to notice someone has big ears. If you have tiny little eyes in relation to your head, they might look a bit strange too. So when you're drawing and your proportions get off, that's where it gets frustrating. So I'm going to teach you the mathematics and the proportions of the face first, even before we get into how to draw eyes and nose and mouth. Because that's going to set your drawing up for success if you truly understand the relationship of these things. So math and science and art is all coming together. Our bodies, our faces, butterflies, flowers, all things in nature grow by a certain proportion and ratio. And it calculates itself. It does the work for you. So we're going to look at this handout, and I'm going to upload this to your topics folder. I'll upload this to your topics folder, but we're going to start by going through these steps, and you'll see how cool it is to see that there is a perfect proportion grid to start drawing the face. So I want you all to begin by drawing an egg shape. Now, we are learning here. We are not trying to be perfect artists getting it right the first time. I didn't draw a perfect egg. I don't expect you to either. So while we're learning, and if something looks funny, just keep going. Listen to the key points, and then you can practice. But it's like trying to hit a home run the first time you ever step up to the plate. It's probably not going to happen. So here's our face, and we know that our face is symmetrical, meaning that the left side and the right side, if you were to fold them in half, they would mirror each other. So that's part easy. We already knew that. The next thing is, where do we put the eyes and the nose and the mouth? The most common mistake when you first draw a head is that people start drawing the eyes way up here. Because we think that the eyes are a lot higher than they actually are. And that's because of the hairline. When we look at our bangs or where our hair grows, we don't account for that being part of the proportion in the front of the face. So the math is so cool that we're just going to draw the lines to get the proportions right, and then we'll fill in the rest. So you're going to divide your egg in exactly half. And believe it or not, your eyes are exactly in the middle. Between the top of the head and the bottom of the chin is the lines that your eyes fall on. You may not believe it. I want you to go to the mirror or look in a mirror while you're doing this. If you put your hand right on top of your head and your chin, hand on your chin, look at that proportional relationship. It's half and half. Pretty cool, huh? Now let's locate the tip of the nose. Even cooler. So I'm going to mark these as equal here. So we've got that ratio. Now the nose. We're going to look at where we drew this line in the bottom of the chin. We're going to divide that line in half perfectly. So the tip of your nose is right in the middle of the center of your eye and your chin. Go ahead and look at yourself in the mirror again, and you'll see that that is the case. So now we know that these dimensions are equal. Architecture, you write an EQ for equal. And these are equal. I switched to lowercase. So we know that relationship. Now, from the tip of our nose, where in the world do we put our mouth? Believe it or not, that goes right in the middle between the tip of the nose and the chin. The mouth is right in the middle. So these proportions right here are equal and equal. Pretty cool, huh? Takes out the guesswork. So on this worksheet, we have our right here, where we have found the center of the eye, the tip of the nose, and where our mouth opens right here. So that is setting you up for success with lining out where your major features go. Now the eyes. The eyes, if you see right here, we've got two eyes, of course, unless you've been in a horrible accident. We have the eyes, the face is exactly 5 eyes wide. So there's 1 eye, 2 eye, 3, 4, and 5. And you'll notice the distance between the eyes is 1 eye apart. Okay, so that we know if we divide our head into 5 parts, 1, 2. Now I've been drawing a long time, so it's easier for me to divide it in half here. Fix that a little bit. We see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts. Our head is 5 widths across, so that's how you would figure out the size of the eye. I'm going to just draw a football right now, for the time being, to show the eyes. So what this diagram is saying is that it's equal eye widths all the way across the head. Alright, so that might be confusing. You can rewind and watch it a few times. You can also email me any questions that you have. I'm always here for you. Okay, so we have our 2 eyes and we know the right widths. And next we want to do the bottom of the nose, the tip of the nose. So we're right here. Now we don't want to draw a perfect nose right now, we're just learning. But our nose tip, I like to just draw an arc kind of like that. And then I like to kind of swoop around for a nostril. So it's an arc this way, 2 arcs that way. So we know that the tip of the nose and the nostrils will lie on this line. Again, I'll go into drawing facial features in the next lesson, but this is kind of how I'm going to start by doing my nose. Right. So we've got the nose and the nostrils resting on the line that we drew. We've got our eyes in the right place. Now we want to do the mouth. Now, we know that we have a pupil in the middle. That's the black part of your eye. And we know that we have an iris, which is the beautiful colors that we all have that are so different and cool. I don't like to draw, I kind of like to cover the eyes so I don't see a full circle, otherwise it looks really surprised. This is a very intense stare that's happening here. So I do this because if we look at the width of the mouth comes down the center of the eye. So if you just kind of want to draw a center line, see the proportions are a little bit off right there? It looks like you might have a crooked smile. I'm just going to go back and adjust that. No problem. Now they say that it's actually the corners of the mouth actually lie a little bit more inside, but for a 5th grade lesson we're just going to stick with this model right here. I'm going to straighten that out. Okay, so now we know where the corners of the mouth are. Where the mouth opens, where the top lip and bottom lip is, that's where we know where our line is. And we know that the corners of the mouth are going to go all the way to that line. And then I put a little bottom lip here. And I'll put a little top lip right here. Okay, so we now know where our mouth is. Now when you study yourself in the mirror, or you sit your sister or brother down, or a parent, you can study how big they're, the true shape of it now, but this is just a generic looking, very scary looking person that we're drawing like that. Okay, so we have the mouth, we have the nose, we have the eyes. We're good on that. Now the last thing is our ears. The ears, where in the world do they go? Well, if I'm wearing glasses, some very cool spectacles, maybe some Harry Potter glasses, we'll give them a lightning bolt right there, and I have the eyeglass structure going to the side, it makes sense that the top of the ear would be right where our eyeglasses go. Otherwise, what would we hook them onto? So we know that the middle of the eye is actually the top of the ear. And for some people, you could have small, tiny ears, but they say, and I've studied, that the ears actually go to the line of the tip of the nose. And that's where we are right in here. So we have the ear starting in the middle of the eye, coming down to the tip of the nose. See how this math is just kind of calculating it for us? It's great. So now we have all that done. The last thing is, if you want to check your proportions, the outside of your eye should come down and mark the edge of your face like that. So we look pretty good right there. Just kind of a double check to make sure that your jaw isn't too wide. And then we can start doing some detail. This might be Harry Potter. He's kind of looking like it might be. Now hair is so different and personalized, and we can draw 1,000 hairlines and hairstyles. But the sideburns kind of come right around in here, and then the bangs of someone is probably right around in here. And so if you part your hair this way, it can come down, and I always bump up the hair because of it's kind of puffy. If you have longer hair, it can come down like this. But if this is Harry Potter, he's got a pretty high hairline, and I think, again, I'm drawing from memory, I think it kind of swoops and might part to the side. I don't know, I've got to check out my Harry Potter trivia. So we have his hair happening right about here. I'm just going to take my pencil and fill that in so that you can see the hair. Part is always just a double parallel line, so if you're wanting to do a part whether on the side or the middle, you might do it like that. I'll make his hair a little crazy because he's probably just fighting Voldemort. Probably a little shabby. Give him a little wisp here too. So I think I just accidentally drew Harry Potter, which is kind of cool. Don't forget the neck. And that just kind of splays out, and then we have a neckline and the shoulders. So I want you to practice this worksheet and just work on the proportions, and the next time I see you, we will actually look at drawing the facial features, and we will go from there. So you got some practicing to do. Start with the head shape, just like this, and go through the steps. Play the video along with me. You can play the video along with me and draw with me, but this is the proportions, the relationship of one part to the whole, and you can see how if you don't get the proportions just right, your face is going to look kind of weird. So the mathematics tell the tale, and that's what we're going to start with first. So I want you to study proportions. The next video we will break it down on how to draw facial features. All right, happy drawing, and don't get frustrated. You are learning right now, We don't care if it's perfect. We are just studying math and art. All right, see you next video.